From the moment Don Rickles first grabbed a microphone in a smoky Las Vegas lounge, he promised the audience two things: outrageous insults and unforgettable laughter. Yet beneath those razor-sharp quips lay a darker truth. By the time he passed away at 90 in 2017, Rickles had built a reputation as Mr. Warmth, the playful jester who poked fun at everyone from movie stars to presidents. What almost nobody knew was that some of his most vicious barbs were anything but innocent cracks. He genuinely despised certain icons with a passion he hid for decades. In the glittering heyday of the 1950s and 60s, Rickles reinvented insult comedy. While other comedians leaned on jokes about everyday life, he drew a bead on the rich, the famous, anyone sitting in the spotlight too long. Audiences roared as he tore down celebrities with a mixture of affection and contempt, perfectly balancing humor and hostility. That paradox made him a headliner in Vegas's greatest showrooms and a recurring guest on The Tonight Show. But offstage he never forgot the targets he truly loathed, and he cataloged them in a secret blacklist no one suspected existed. It wasn't until his final years, when the neon lights dimmed and threats of career suicide no longer loomed over him, that Rickles dared to confess. Behind the performance there were names he refused to forgive. 8 names, 8 living embodiments of the hypocrisy, opportunism, or lazy stardom he abhorred. First on that list, Clint Eastwood, Hollywood's taciturn golden boy. To Rickles, Eastwood's career amounted to little more than one scowl followed by another. On a Vegas stage he once harumphed, "Clint, you've got 2 expressions, a mean scowl and a meaner scowl. That's your whole acting resume." The audience howled as Eastwood's famously stoic smirk betrayed nothing. Rickles always insisted that without Hollywood's hype, the man with no name would still be waiting tables at a diner. Next came Dean Martin, Vegas's slippery drunk crooner who seemed to glide by on charm instead of craftsmanship. Rickles dubbed him Mr. Highball, sneering, "Dean, you don't sing, you yawn with a tune, and if the house ever ran dry of whiskey your act would run dry too." It stung deeper because Martin basked in Rat Pack glory while Rickles felt he'd earned every laugh through sheer grind. Worse still, Martin's world-weary grin disguised a bottle-ridden laziness Rickles believed masqueraded as effortless talent. Then there was Ronald Reagan, the former actor-turned-governor-turned-president. Rickles loathed how Hollywood elevated Reagan despite his wooden performances. "Ronnie," he jabbed on air, "you flopped in films so badly they shipped you into politics just to save face." As commander-in-chief, Reagan hardly cringed. He laughed along even backstage, but Rickles never forgot. To him, Reagan was proof that image trumped substance in America. Which of these iconic figures surprised you most by being on Don Rickles' secret blacklist? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. Frank Sinatra occupied a unique place in Rickles' world. Old Blue Eyes was both mentor and meal ticket, yet Rickles never hesitated to jab, "Frank, without your well-placed mob friends, you'd still be singing in second-rate joints." The risk was real. Sinatra's rumored underworld connections could end a career with a phone call. Amazingly, Sinatra applauded the insult, cementing a fierce friendship built on equal parts admiration and rivalry. Bob Hope, the ever-smiling safe joke king, also earned Rickles' scorn. Where Rickles prized raw honesty, Hope peddled comfort. "Bob Hope," Rickles sneered. "Man, you're the Disneyland of comedy, sparkling and squeaky clean, but there isn't a shred of truth." He prided himself on daring audiences to squirm. Hope's brand of humor was mere amusement park candy. On late-night TV, Johnny Carson reigned. He gave Rickles a premiere platform, yet on stage Rickles couldn't resist deriding him as just a script reader in a suit. He quipped, "Johnny, you're so reclusive your own shadow won't speak to you," driving home that he saw Carson as an empty vessel, not a comedian. Joan Rivers, the self-styled queen of mean, managed to rile Rickles more than almost anyone. 2 masters of insult comedy locked in silent battle, trading barbs in the wings. He jostled her with, "If you got any uglier Vegas would slap a permanent no-entry sign on the strip." Rivers fired back, calling him Mr. Acid, but in Rickles' mind she'd cheapened the art by turning cruelty into a gimmick. Finally, Jerry Lewis, slapstick's biggest star, adored in France yet reviled by Rickles as a carnival freak. "Jerry doesn't do jokes," he sneered. "He just screams till kids giggle and adults beg for mercy." Lewis's pantomime antics represented everything Rickles loathed about Hollywood hype. For decades, Rickles bottled up this animosity, weaving his contempt into comedy so adroitly no one suspected genuine hatred. He understood that a single misstep against a powerful name could ruin him. His survival owed as much to mob applause as to his own guile. Yet as his life approached its twilight, the fear of repercussions faded. He sensed that once his soul was bared, there was no turning back. In confessing his blacklist, Rickles delivered more than a list of grudges. He issued a searing indictment of show business hypocrisy, a world where talent often takes a backseat to publicity and backroom politics. He wanted the record straight, unvarnished by laughter or spectacle. But Don Rickles' true masterpiece wasn't the thousand savage jabs he launched at stage legends and presidents. It was the contradiction of a man who could razz Sinatra and then walk off stage to embrace his family with a gentle heart. A man whose cruelty on stage masked a deep devotion to loved ones. And it was that very tension, between barbed wit and genuine warmth, that transformed insult comedy into a bold art form. Today, Rickles' legacy endures every time a comedian dares to cut to the bone, every time an audience winces and then releases a cathartic laugh. He taught the world that sometimes the bluntest truths spark the richest humor. In an industry built on glitter and pretense, Don Rickles held up a mirror, one so unflinching it made us squirm then set us free. His laughter lives on, echoing through every roast, every fearless comedian who steps on stage knowing they risk alienating half the room. When the curtain finally fell on Don Rickles in 2017, Hollywood didn't just lose a comedian. It lost its most unrelenting truth-teller. His blacklist may have contained names steeped in power, glamour, and frustration, but his final confession reminded us that beyond the glitz, the world needs voices unafraid to speak plainly. No one else could wield laughter like a scalpel as he did. And even now, when old recordings crackle to life, his spirit sits with us again, cackling, heckling, illuminating the fine line between comedy and conviction.